Yesterday I picked up the van after its 20,000 miles service, and I've been pulling together tools and things to take with us to Alaska and thinking about the kinds of things we'll need to take with us that have to do with the car. And so today I'm going to talk about some of the new additions and a few tips you might need to know about your Mercedes Sprinter. Last week we took the vehicle in for the airbag replacement, and Mercedes, we took it to the Mercedes dealer, and they did the replacement of the airbag as well as just a basic vehicle inspection, making sure the tires were inflated, those kinds of things, and that was that was complimentary. And then I took to our local mechanic that I've used for many, many years, took it in for its 20,000 mile service. And he replaced the oil, so we replace it every 10,000 miles, and they take a sample for me, which I will send in to Blackstone. And when I get the report back, I'll post both of the 10,000 mile report and the 20,000, and you can compare those two. They did find one problem with the vehicle, and apparently this is quite common amongst the Sprinter vans. There is a part that's called the fuel injector bypass return line. And when he called the parts place where he buys his Mercedes parts to see if they had it in stock, the guy said, "Oh yeah, we have a lot of those in stock because they replace a lot of them." Apparently, the mechanic noticed a really tiny leak around this little part, and so that was the most expensive thing of our service. The part alone was $119, and then a couple of hours of labor. Because it's not real straightforward. They did it the right way. Apparently, there's another way you can do it that isn't the right. You can do it that way, but it's maybe not as good. So really happy with that, and everything else was fine. We also asked them about putting a battery in the chassis. That extra battery position. That's something he said you really need to take it to an upfitter. It involves changing the alternator depending on what kind of equipment you're trying to run on it. And we actually have a call into Mercedes to find out if they can shed any light on this or what it takes or what it costs. So we're hoping to get that. We also have a call into Mercedes. They're supposed to get back to us on having the odometer recalibrated to handle the tire size that we have on our tires. So they're slightly larger than the originals, and so our odometer reading is slightly off, which gives us a slightly reduced mile per gallon on our diesel fuel. Our mechanic also drives a diesel truck, and he recommends that we put a fuel additive into the tank about every 5 tank loads. He uses something called Liqui Moly. Now, I know I'm willing to try anything, almost anything. And so I asked him to order us a case of this. Turned out to be, let's see, it's on the tag. He charged us, Liqui Moly, $84 for a case of 12. And so we're going to take this with us and see if it does what it says it's going to do, which is improve the starting from cold. Well, we don't have cold, but improve fuel economy. That would be nice. Prevent corrosion, protects and keeps the injection system and the combustion chamber clean. The engine runs smoother, quieter, and has a better performance. So we will see if this does as it's advertised. When I started doing the electrical work on our van, a few weeks ago, I thought, well, I probably need to get a multimeter for the van, an Automotive multimeter. And I did a little research, and I found this one it's also made by Blue Driver, and it looked really interesting. Plus, it was on sale on Amazon. I think it was $30. I'll put the link below if you're interested. One of the things I thought was interesting about this multimeter was that it will also sense temperature, so you could check the temperature of your tailpipe. Or what I was thinking was I can put it in the vent where the refrigerator fan is and kind of get a feel for the temperature inside there. So it comes with the two sensors. This one is for the temperature sensing, and this is for your, everything else. So I'll have to spend some time getting to know this guy. But I thought that was, it looks like a nice multimeter for $30. We don't take a whole lot of tools with us when we travel, but this time I'm making sure that we have, I think, things that we might need. So we're taking a few more than usual, which I'm sure for a lot of you guys, you're going to say that is not nearly enough. But that's what we're going to go with. So let me show you what I'm taking, and then you guys who are real fanatics, you can tell me all the things that I've left out. I'm using this, this pack that we've had in our attic for years. It's from REI, but it was perfect for the tools that we're taking. We have an assortment of wrenches and some wire cutters and a hammer. Some of these are specific to our needs because we have to remove the hitch from our vehicle when we get on the ferry. So we're going to save ourselves $300 or $400 with that. Some other unique tools that these cabinet guys like to use, and you're not going to have them necessarily. This one tightens those cupboard hinges that loosen up over time. Never know what kind of goo you're going to want to scrape off. And then the other unique tool is this square bit that the cabinet guys use to hold things on, like the valance where the curtain is, and then a screwdriver. And then one of my favorite tools, because I just had this sharpened, is this little hand axe that belonged to my father. So this thing is probably 60 years old. It's really in remarkable condition, this handle. And I think we saw somewhere where they recommend you soak that in some linseed oil. So we'll give that a try and see if it puts some life back into it. But I just had this sharpened, and that way we can cut up some kindling when we want to have a fire. I think we can expect a fair amount of moisture in Alaska and Canada. So we want to replace that nasty carpet in the front of the cab. So I bought these WeatherTech mats, and I'm going to open them up and get them installed. And here's the mat. Oh man. There's a penny. There we go. Okay, mats are in. They'll never look this clean again. The only thing about them is you probably have to be careful when you're getting in not to catch your foot on these edges that turn up here. I went to Ace Hardware last week to have some keys made because, you're always losing keys, and you don't want to lose the key to your shower, your outdoor shower, or your water, to fill your water. And so while I was having the keys made, I saw these little rubber rings that you can put around keys. And I thought, oh, that's great. Now we don't have to figure out which key goes to what. So I got a blue ring to go with the one for water, and a green one because green rhymes with clean. So this is the shower key. So just a little tip for keys. Now, the other thing you might want to do regarding your keys is have the battery replaced on your fob, or do it yourself, obviously. So replace this battery. Now, when you buy a new RV, you assume that everything's brand new and your battery's going to be good for a couple of years. But the reality is some of these chassis have been sitting around a little while before they actually start the upfitting. And so with ours, for example, we have a 2018 Pleasureway Ascent built on a 2016 chassis, a December 2016. So it was about a year old. So make sure you replace the fobs probably at least every 2 years. And so that's a job that we've taken care of. One of our viewers said that this cover on the lithium batteries does not have to stay there. So I'm going to remove that and give ourselves just a little bit more space. We also carry a quart of synthetic oil, and I like these singles for a trip like this because getting rid of space as you go. These are for the toilet treatment. And we'll have our blocks and a mat. And this is our, tire inflator. So this is a pump. This is the tire jack that we purchased from Agile Off-Road. It's a much beefier unit. I have just a few more things to share that we'll be taking, and so let me zoom the camera in so you can see them. So we carry a battery for jump starting the vehicle, and it also can charge devices. And this has worked out really well because John's car seems to always need a jump start. So this will do, it has 2 USB ports and some other things, and it does a really good job of starting a dead battery. So that will be coming with us. And the other things I picked up a little triangle caution light, in case we're on the side of the road and we need help, or we just don't want cars to hit us. I purchased this. It was only $10 and can't hurt, and it doesn't take up much space. And then John wanted some wheel chocks in case we have to change a tire. So I picked up those. And then the last thing is, DEF, our diesel it requires DEF, and we'll probably have to fill it up somewhere along the line. Now, DEF is cheapest if you can buy it at a truck stop. But we noticed once when we were trying to do that the nozzle was too large to fit into the opening for where the DEF goes. And I thought, well, if we had some kind of a funnel where it went in here first and then it filled up the DEF, that would be ideal. So I'm going to give this a try. I would love to know if any of you have done something like this, or if this is just courting disaster, but please let me know about that. I'm sure I've left something out, but you guys will point it out. You always do, and you give me great ideas. So please comment below what I've left out, what I've forgotten, what mistakes I've made, and I'll hopefully be able to address those before we leave for Alaska. That's all I have for this week, so thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Okay. So I'm doing the one on John's side of the van, and several people have pointed out that I need to tell you guys about the polarity issue. The red is the positive, and it has to go to the positive on the back of here. I don't know if you can see that. Light's not very good. Wait a minute, John. Okay, so this one's positive. You can see the positive there, and that's the negative. So you got to make sure that you get the polarity right. So on this other side, it's a little bit more complicated because you got all this other electronic stuff. Make sure you turn the battery off. Now I'm going to remove these things, whatever they're called. I love it when you guys tell me what something's called.
The hooky doos.
I even got John out here to hold the phone for me. So that one is, and if you look down here, I can see that one's red. That one's red, and this one's black down here. I'm gonna pull that one out. Okay, now I can unscrew this sucker with the channel locks. If I can find them in here. Huh?
Little ones are up above.
Okay, this will work. Thank you. And keep going. Keep going. You don't want to.
At least it didn't reverse the camera.
Yeah. Okay. That sucker comes off. Don't drop that washer on the back side. You'll probably never get it out. Okie dokie. Man, who needs an electrician when you got subscribers to tell you how to do this stuff?
Or where to go.
Okay, so here we go. Now which one is positive? Oops, let's get off there. This one is the positive. I'll check it again when I get it in there. And then another, Doug Tucker pointed out, another good thing about replacing these is you get rid of the blue light. So if you're sensitive to lights, although you really can't see it at night because it's covered up with the bed, but if you're sleeping, maybe you're taking a nap on the couch.
Use it as a twin bed.
You know, that's true. If you're using it as twin bed, you might see it. Okay, so now I got to figure out which is the positive. Okay, so got the positive on the positive, the negative on the negative, and this is the weird part is getting this thing back in. You have to hold this up. Whoops, wrong way. It's upside down. Have to hold this up while you slide it in. Oops. And actually go a little this way. There we go. And then this should pop back down again. There we go.